On this question, we are using the given conditions to write an equation for the line in point-slope form and slope-intercept form. Well, in this case, we have 2 points. We know the line is passing through this point and that point. We don't have a slope, and we don't have any equation yet to go with, so we're going to figure that out. So there's a few things that we need to understand. First thing, we got to find the slope. Remember, our slope formula is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I always find it best if we label our points so we know and we don't get confused on what the point should be. So here is x1 and y1, x2 and y2. It doesn't matter which point you label which, because it all works out in the end, as long as you go the same direction both times. So we're going to start here and go here with the y's, and then same with the x's. So we've got negative 7 minus negative 4, and negative 2 minus negative 4. Remember, your double negatives there are going to become pluses. So negative 7 plus 4 will get us negative 3, and negative 2 plus 4 will get us 2. So our slope in this case is going to be negative 3/2. I'm just going to write it here so we can see it more simply. So now we have our slope. The first part we have to do is point-slope form. And here is your point-slope formula. So we have y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Now when you plug values in, you never plug one in for the x and the y, only for the x1 and the y1 and the m. So you can choose either point, you could choose both negative 4s, or you can choose the negative 2, negative 7. I usually choose the point with the smaller numbers because it makes the math easier. The bigger numbers are going to make your math a little bit more difficult. In this case, I'm going to choose this one so you can see exactly where I put the values. If I use this one, you wouldn't know which one I'm plugging in because they're both negative 4. So here we're going to have y minus negative 7 is equal to negative 3/2 x minus negative 2. Now it does say x1 and y1, and we used what we labeled as x2, y2. It doesn't matter. So let's simplify this up a little bit. So here we have y plus 7 is equal to negative 3/2 x plus 2. This equation here, now that we've simplified it, this would be your point-slope form. Okay, that's how you would put it into MATLAB. Now, we need to get to our slope-intercept form. Remember, slope-intercept is going to be y equals mx plus b. So this will be y equals mx plus b. The way to get to that is to solve this down. The easiest way to solve this when we have a fraction is to multiply by both sides by the denominator. I'm using brackets instead of parentheses since we already have parentheses, so it makes it a little bit easier for you to tell what I'm doing. So here we have 2 times y will get us 2y, plus 2 times 7 will get us 14. Over here our 2's will cancel, and we've got negative 3 times x gets us negative 3x, and negative 3 times 2 will get us negative 6. Now the reason we only multiply by the 2 is if we multiplied by the reciprocal, where sometimes we choose to do that in other types of situations, we'd still end up with a fraction on the other side. And if we carried the negative sign through, then we've got more negative signs to worry about. So it's best to leave it next to the 3 and just multiply it through here. Otherwise we'd have negatives over here, and then we're having to do a little bit more with them, which can sometimes cause some issues. Now we're going to keep solving, so we're just going to subtract the 14 from both sides. Remember, what we do to one side, we do to the other. So that'll get us 2y. This will go away. And here we'll have negative 3x. And these are both the same sign, so we'll add them and keep the sign. So 14 plus 6 is 20. The last part we'll do is divide by 2 for each term. So y equals negative 3 halves x minus 20 divided by 2 will get us 10. Now as you will notice, from the beginning we started with our slope as negative 3 halves. And look what we ended up with, the same slope. That should always happen. So this here will be your slope-intercept form. So you have both parts that you needed to do, and you've got it all simplified down.